Hi there, good morning, happy Monday, if there can be such a thing. I'm looking at DXY, which is a dollar index, because that is the thing that's driving all the markets at the moment. So if you think when the dollar goes up, and you're wondering why Bitcoin's weak when the dollar goes up, because the dollar's worth more, you don't need as many dollars to buy a Bitcoin. Put that in your head. Okay, so there's lesson number one. As to the rise of it, I still think, we're at a sort of top-ish. I'm certainly looking to short dollars in trades I'm doing. So I'm in general bullish of stuff. Now, this doesn't mean I have to do it today, but I'm looking for long trades in Aussie US and any other US pairs really. The other thing to note is that Euro USD is this is largely Euro USD inverted. The Euro USD is at a 4-year low, I believe. Let's have a look at months. Okay, so we are at a level here where I'd expect some form of support driven by this price action. So here I am looking at support here. And so I would have thought I'd expect to see some sideways action here. If we do go lower, I'd expect to bounce back to this level. And we're pretty much on the point here where I would expect it to either stop here and reverse or go sideways for a while before deciding to move away from this level. So here is an interesting, what you might call an auction area. What else is there to talk about? We might as well quickly cursory look at Bitcoin. Obviously, with US dollar very strong, Bitcoin's going to be weak. Let's go back to the 8 hour. So here is your Bitcoin price, which is busy making a little level here for itself. So if we go down from here, I'd expect to come back to it. And if we go up from here, I'd expect to retest it. So, you can just hold your horses for now. This could, I've been talking about how this can go on for a long time. I'm still bullish. Well, we're just literally mucking around in 5-10% range here. When if you look at the grand scheme of things, we are at a good level to buy. After all, I managed to tell everybody not to buy in various places on this way. I remember saying, don't buy it here. And again, don't buy it here. And I remember saying, buy some here, but don't add to it until it goes lower. So that's kind of where we are. And now, in this area, this is a good area, as far as I'm concerned, to get long some. Now, this is an AMA. You can ask me any questions you like. Last time I did a little bit about a journal. Keeping a journal is very important for those of you who didn't catch last time. What you do is you write down why you do or don't do a trade. Now, just as equally, not doing a trade is just as useful. You write down the reasons why you didn't, and then write down what happened afterwards. So, maybe there were some reasons why you didn't do it, but it would have been a good trade. Again, write them down. And every month, look through it, and mark yourself on your performance. I would say with all of these things, whilst you're still learning, I still write a journal today, even though I'm live trading. But I would write a journal whilst you're not live trading, whilst you're trading dummy accounts. Teach yourself. This is a good way to teach yourself. It doesn't cost you anything. It's fun. If you really want to experience a bit more pressure, then do it on a live account, but with $20 risk or $50 risk. Whatever suits you. It might be $5 risk. It doesn't matter as long as there's some real risk there. At least it feels then like it's not you going around to your mates on a Friday night and playing with matchsticks. You're actually playing for real money. Even if it's small stakes, it's still more fun, and you still feel more pressure. And it's still far more like the true trading experience if you've got real money behind it. Yes, Arian's back. Hi, yes, Arian. Hi, Paul. Just wondering what your views on the S&P 500 in the next few weeks. I'm happy enough to only be using a demo account right now. Well, that's good. You need to be making good money on a demo account for weeks, months before you do anything else. I can look at S&P. Okay, so I'm in general, because I think the dollar is reaching some kind of high, and S&P is a dollar denominated thing. So in general, I'm bullish. I'm reading this as, at the moment, bullish. I haven't seen any particularly bearish signs here in the recent S&P action. I'm just checking out. Let's bring this wonderful volume tool up to date. In fact, if we take it from probably best to take it from the low, and that will give us So you can see there's a lot more action up there. So if you just draw some lines on here based on these bumps, one there, one there, one there, the next one, that one's already marked there, and then we can get rid of it, and then we can zoom in and see what we come up with. So this white line here is a decent support, and if we're going to go down, it needs to, it will probably stop at that level and have a good old think about stuff before it goes up. Long term, and I said that I put it in one of my ideas, it is this one here, and what I'm saying is that we may get another rally before we come off as a result of this recession, which everybody can see coming. And the reason, you've got this rabbit in the headlights, this is what this is. It's not a very good picture, but that's what the market is a rabbit in the headlights, and it's staring down the face of a recession, and everyone can see it coming. And what happens then if it starts to rally? That is the question. That's what you've got to worry about. And if it does start to rally, my concern is that everyone will short into it. And so all I'm saying is, while I'm not saying just buy, what I am saying is if it rallies and you think, sod this is a recession going on, why the hell is it rallying? I wouldn't be so quick to short it. And that's what that piece says. Don't be so quick to short it. Now, that doesn't mean I think we're necessarily going up, though personally, my personal opinion is, gun to my head, I'm buying this and I'm not selling it. The worry is that if you short it and say to yourself, why has it made a new high? Why is it up at 440 again? What's going on? This has got to be a short. I really am not convinced that it is. So there you go. There's my views on that. Pedro Raffo, hi Paul, hit like buttons. Yeah, hit like buttons, everyone. Like this stuff. Well, Sarah, you retracted the message, having asked a perfectly sensible question. Jeff Moore, hi from Dan and Paul. Would you mind sharing your thoughts on ADA USDT after its recent uptrend? Thanks. No problem. We can look at ADA. I'm guessing that's probably going to be the biggest amount. Okay, so there's not very much I can learn out of that. ADA is a crypto. Bitcoin I'm bullish, therefore I'm bullish ADA. Let's look at the daily. And what I will always go to with these things when you're looking at price action is look where, find out, use the fixed range volume profile and find out where the action is. And it is, you are breaking off from here. And this is the first break from it, so I would expect, if we are going to go up, I'd expect a retest at some stage because it's quite a pull. Now you've got a pull, again, let's just put the lines in. So that's in slightly the wrong place. It's more of a whole chunk there, in fact. It's more appropriate to be putting stuff like this in. And then you've got another one, kind of all of this, and the market transitions fairly rapidly between the two states. There's another one that's more like a line, but still not that great a picture. It's I would not say that's an easy thing to call as to where it's headed next. Yeah, if you're a bull of ADA, I would say it will probably retrace, and what you can do is, having looked at that and giving yourself the big line, so the big line is probably this one, let's just draw it there, that is the biggest spike in volume. Then if you do exactly the same thing near a term, you might get a little bit more of a hint as to what you think might happen. So if we just go from the recent high, it's more or less exactly the same point. So that is where the action is, and you'll probably see a retest. There you go, that's what I think of ADA. Not sure why that retracted, you're saying. Okay. You're saying, can vouch for demo account and moving into the gradual. I began trading, was up, feeling confident. A few days later, I was in the red, just about underwater, and questioning my decisions. Well, that's because you're trying to trade before you're psychologically ready. Psychology is all about it. Fanny says, and this is on TradingView. Hi Paul, thanks for all the videos. I'm watching gold today. Okay, well, we can watch gold. Gold's a bit of an odd one. It hasn't, various stages it's looked like taking off and going rocket fuel, but hasn't quite done it. Don't need that there now. So this is still a potentially a 4 here. I mean, very nearly. It depends where you get your pricing from, because this is actually slightly higher than this marker here. But yeah, I'm not ready to get stuck into gold. Just don't feel like it's right. What have you got? Weekly stochastic is false bar. 3-day false bar oversold. Daily. It's a hard one to pick. Gold seems to have disassociated itself from its normal things. So normally goes up when S&P goes down, and that is not happening. Not much else to say about gold. I just don't think it's a good enough picture. I mean, gun to my head, I'm buying it, don't get me wrong, but I still think it perhaps needs to visit some lower levels here. This one's really a strong pull, 1550. I think that's quite a strong pull, 1550, and I'd really like to see it hit that, and then I can really think about whether or not I'd like to buy it. I'm not a shorter of gold, but I don't think it's just not tempting enough right now. Jeff Moles says, brilliant, thanks, no problem. Oripas, do you think AU is going for C of 1-2 or still A of 1-2? C of 1-2 or A? I don't think we've had 1. I don't think A is over. I'm not entirely sure that we've had 1. I'm looking at this, and look at my target for 1 is higher than this. So I don't know, it's a bit of a tricky one. 4 may not even be in. We've been talking quite a bit about this in our within Discord. And by the way, like, subscribe, share. I've been basically trained to say that now, so that we can actually grow this channel, so more people get some sensible advice rather than listening to idiots. I'm not saying everybody's idiots, but there are certainly in Bitcoin there are a whole load of gurus who are useless. We're not sure that this is in this 4, and we may have to wait longer. The reasons for which I'm a bit loath to go through, but I would happily share with people who are in Discord. Because if this is a 0 to 1, but the main reason, I guess, is if this is 0 to 1, this blue one here. Now where are my 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a potential 5 there. 3. I mean, we could be there. It's possible, and we're keeping our eye on it, but by no means convinced at the moment. That's where we are in AU. Are there any more questions? As you know, it's only a Monday. There's not very much going on. Anything else? Okay. Right, I'm going to call it there. I will see you tomorrow. Oh, wait a minute. Teth is 6. Paul, I missed your Bitcoin analysis. Could you do a recap at some point during today's stream? Okay, well, I haven't done much on Bitcoin because we've been talking about it for ages. But we think that Bitcoin is either, let's go to the daily, let's remove some of these things. So we think this is either A of an ABC move, which will probably get a C very similar to where we are now, and the reason I'm long is because I want the bounce, or it's possible, but we don't think this is true, that this is ABC. Either way, next move ought to be up. However, time, who knows? As I've said a few times, this was 78 days or something. This took 78 days to sort itself out, and we're only at that kind of period now. In fact, I think it's 78 days to there. So if we just drag that over here, you know, we haven't even been there for the, and this is a monthly, this is a weekly, so it could easily be out here before we get out of this sort of formation we're in. It could false break out the top, false break out the bottom, who knows. So that's what I think on your Bitcoin. Any more in YouTube? regarding risk management, do you ever enter trades with the intention to scale into position without setting a stop loss? No, you should always put a stop loss in. There's absolutely no doubt that you should always put a stop loss in for every trade you do. What happens if war's declared, or there's an enormous earthquake in Tokyo or something like that? Markets will really shake out. Now, I suppose the counter argument could be that as long as you're long the dollar and you're basically betting on disaster, then you don't, if you're doing that, you don't need a stop loss. But I would say that you should always put a stop loss in, and the stop loss should be, and hear this out, it should be where you're wrong. So if you sell it here and it goes up to there, you're wrong. Put the stop loss in, start again. It's not like you're suddenly a super gifted trader and don't need a stop loss. You just got it wrong. Okay, so that's what I think about that. And the big messes I've ever got myself in were always where I was stubborn and I didn't have a stop loss, or I pulled the stop loss, or I moved the stop loss. These are habits that even I might fall into now. I don't know what I'll do next week. Maybe I'll do something really dumb and take a stop loss out or move a stop loss, even though I keep telling people not to. But it's so tempting to do. You think, just another few ticks. Another way to think about stop losses is this. You might want to say you want to buy it at double O with a stop loss at 80. Why not buy it at 80? You might miss a few trades, but actually the number of times it dips through and you end up getting stopped out and then it bounces straight away. I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but maybe I'm just really good at this. But when I do get it wrong, it just pips my stop loss and fires away, and I'd have been fine. And I bet you've noticed that yourselves. And that is psychology for you. That's where you think you're safe. And maybe for the next few weeks, put your order in where your stop loss was going to be. I don't know, just an idea. Test it out, see how it goes. And if you're still testing, use a dummy account. Pedro Raffo, in what price do you change your forecast to bearish? If you're talking about Bitcoin, which I'm assuming you are, I don't think I'm going to. So I'm long, and if it dips to, even if it dips to 10,000, I'm really don't think I want to go short ever. I really don't think it's something to short. Now, other markets, I'd switch to bearish in US 500 if it dipped under that line there, 33.75. I think it will stop there. I think we may end up retesting these layers here, maybe down to 3600 or 360, depending on which one you're looking at. But for me, I'm not bearish until it really does show some bearish signs. A typical bearish picture would be something like this. If I start seeing that sort of action, then I'll be the first one to be telling you this doesn't look nice. Okay, so that's the sort of thing. NY says, hey Mr. Paul, please, are you giving signer out? I don't know what that means. If you could write that down as NY in another way, I'm not quite sure what that means. Signs, do I give out signs? As in signals? Oh, signals. No, we don't do signals. What we have is a Discord channel where we teach people how to trade. So there is a visitors area where we drop snippets in and generally chat to people and try and guide them towards the right thing. But then the main portion of the channel is for subscribers only, and it's like a year-long course really. You need to be doing it for a year. You need to have some idea. Run it as university education. So while you can get free education from all kinds of broker sites and so forth, they're just teaching you to feel confident enough to throw your money in the toilet. Whereas what we're trying to do is say, no, you must be aware that they're teaching you how to throw money in the toilet, and what we're going to do is show you how not to. Again, that's kind of how we work. So imagine it as like a university for traders. So we don't give out signals. What we tend to, because we, you have to be licensed to do that anyway. And what we tend to do is we'll say when we're stalking a trade, and then after we've done the trade, we'll tell you we've done it. That's kind of the version of a signal you'll get. But you should get a good idea of how to trade, and therefore when we're stalking the trade, you'll be stalking it too, because after all, you'll see why we're looking at it, see why we're looking to get long or short, and you'll be tempted at the same time, and then hopefully you'll do the trade at the same time as us anyway, and just get confirmation when we do it. Eldar, do you keep your money on exchanges for crypto, or how do you keep stop loss? how do you keep? I've only got one crypto account now, and I don't have stop losses at the moment in crypto simply because I'm just in cash. I'm not leveraged at all. So there's the alternative. So you don't necessarily need a stop loss if you're willing to hold cash, which I am. All my crypto holdings are cash. Right, probably that'll do for now, and you've been lovely. I'll see you tomorrow. Barring accidents, take it easy.